Today we're going to talk with Bridget from Bridgeworks and talk a little bit about what she does and how it applies to what I do in the office. Same topic. And Bridget, you explain best of what you do.
I am a home organizer, and I started in home organization after spending 20 years in the construction field. So going around and building large commercial buildings. And so I'm able to manage a lot of resources and people at the same time. And so how that translated into home organization, I had no idea that people needed someone to be organized. I've just been, I've just done this for so many years naturally. There are times when I was a toddler that I could remember organizing things. And once I realized that that was not just an intrinsic skill that everyone had, I was like, hey, I can help you out. So that's when I started my company, I think 5 years ago now.
Wow. Okay.
And so, the other part is that it's kind of morphed on that I've moved into closet install and then designing, installing, and organizing closets. But my heart and my service, my purpose is in home organization and helping fix their outer environment.
That's great. I do the inside, but
Yeah.
the outside does, you said, reflects the inside, which is so true. I've been practicing about 26 years now, and one of the big things that I thought we could really mesh with was mold, because once you see it on the outside, then you know it's on the inside.
Yeah.
And not everyone is exposed the same, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. More people are more sensitive to the mold. So tell me where you might, because I look at the inside first. So inside first, outside first, because you have to first get rid of it in the environment. So tell me where you find and discover mold inside when you're doing this. Like, what kind of situation would it be?
So it is going to be normally in the top and the bottom of the houses.
Okay.
Because, as you know, mold forms when it gets a wet surface, and then it kind of swirls its way into pressboard and cardboard and paper products, right? So where's that environment made? Typically, it's going to start with some type of leak in a basement where you're storing things, and you're storing it in cardboard. Tisk, never store in cardboard, store in plastic, clear plastic, but that's a different conversation, so that you can see it and then it'll actually get used. But then the other part is in an attic area. Again, there's a roof leak. So anywhere that water stands and meets with paper products, or I think I told you when we were talking off camera that a lot of people, they try to dress up their storage space and maybe put a carpet in the bottom of them, or store a rug, like or something like that. That's right. That's right. And so the thing is that if that gets wet at all, so you have a 3x5 rug that is, you're just trying to not step on your gross basement, right? So now you have a 3x5 wet space, because if the corner of it gets wet, all of it gets wet, it travels. And then at that point, anything that is sitting on this carpet, so your box of books, and it just sort of grows and expands.
Well, there's extreme too. There's extremes with this. It could be simple. Like, I had a patient that the car company sent a letter saying it's been blowing in her car. She was one of my sicker patients that I've ever had with mold. But when you talk about internally, first I have them make sure they get rid of the source. So if it's in the house, depends. There's a little leak, it's corrected. They're probably not so sick then, right? Yeah. But if they're coming to see me, they're pretty sick at that point. So most people don't realize they're being exposed to mold. And the patients that get the sickest are patients that are allergic to penicillin, believe it or not, right? And they have a lot of allergies. And because we have a lot of mold in Georgia, so even going outside, there's a high count of mold. So that's one of the things.
That's an interesting point. I just put two and two together, that if you don't, if you're allergic to penicillin, which comes from mold,
Yeah.
then that's something I may start asking some of my clients kind of as I'm doing a walkthrough of their home if I see mold. So that's interesting. That's a cool point.
And though what I do though is I go back to birth and try to figure out like some of because there's going to be some food allergies, there's going to be some other stuff in there. But if you're dealing with mold, first thing, remove from the environment. Some people leave their homes because a lot of their kids get very, very sick.
Yeah.
So we don't want, hopefully not that extreme, right? Then we make sure air filters are changed. I make sure they remove toxins from their environment, because if you're already sick from the mold toxins, let's remove like extra chemicals, that cleaners in your house, that, you know, because there can be so many. So I have them go to one product. I like to use doTERRA cleaning supplies, and then hair, and what you're putting on your body, and do you use makeup, and
well, and
so
air
we remove
filters,
that.
it's a double whammy, you know,
Right.
like what happens if it gets wet, you know? So first off, it's growing the mold,
Right,
and
that's
then
right.
every air, you know, that
It's
goes through your
blowing.
house, it's blowing the mold.
Well,
Interesting.
I'll tell you my
He's like-
experience, because I got so interested in mold because I used to mold. It changed my life. I lost 26 pounds of muscle in 4 months, and I wouldn't have known
Not
that.
a fun diet, you know.
Not a fun diet. My skin would burn, then it'd go away. My eyes would burn. I'd be so fatigued I couldn't walk in my house, and then it'd be gone in the morning because I was getting exposed. Because what did I do? I would turn my air conditioner in the summer off when I was gone for the weekend at my work. And I would turn it back on when it came back. Then it's blowing. There was something in the back of my office and in the front. They gutted everything and we took care of it all. I'm sure they would have preferred me to move, but I did not have stayed. So been here 22 years. So we do air, your water, your toxins, but you got to get rid of the mold. So I run the labs. And then we start on a mold detox, because I'm going to use things that are going to bind to the toxins and pull them out. It takes about a year. No, it took me 2 years to get better. I had microtoxic pneumonia for 2 years.
Well, you can't just bag up your internal organs. Like I can bag up a box of books that has, you know, mold on it. I just put on my PPE and get it out of the house. But you can't detox your body the same way that you can detox your house. Yeah.
True. But it's such a very specific protocol and works so well. And it's like, I think I read this in Deepak Chopra many years ago. So if something happens to you in your life and then you develop something to help other people, that's the reason it happened. So I feel like I'm a mold expert, because I can go boom, 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 boom. Here's the lab. This is what we're going to test. This is what I'm finding. Or I send in someone, you know, Cox. He's a good friend of ours, both of ours, to go and test the environment, see what we're dealing with. Then I do stool tests and so on and so forth, because we want to be specific, because we don't want to chase our butts, right? When I was dealing with a patient years ago, like, it's like dropping a pen. It hits the ground. That's how you get better, when you are thinking, moving, eating different, and you're getting the nutrients you need, and we're healing organs. You know, I call it healing and peeling. So not happening. What's going on? Well, then you start digging in, you know, looking in other places. So it's a journey, but it works. But if you know, and you know how to test, and you know what you're looking for, you can give the nutrients and the herbs and stuff to heal it, right?
Yeah.
You see it in a book, you know it's there.
Yeah.
You remove the book, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, are they moving out, or whatever that might be.
And to your point about the levels, I mean, sometimes the smell hits you in the face and you're like, oh, we got a problem here. And at that point, my team, I don't even let my team in there. I put on, I'm the only one that gets exposure to it, because, and one, I'm safe when I do it, but two, if anyone's going to have an issue, let it be me.
Right. You don't want that.
Yeah. But then there's sometimes when, you know, we pack up homes also to help them pack and unpack. And there are times when you pull a book off of a bookshelf, but it's not a wooden bookshelf. You know, you and I laugh about the IKEA bookshelves, you know, that get wet in a basement. And at that point, it's not only the bookshelf that needs to be discarded. You get, it's a cloudy film, you know, it's not try
blowing it, it's dust, but it blows up in your face and it's mold.
Sis, I mean,
I got rid of every single thing. My desk was press board, I'm sure, and we just we got rid of every single thing.
If I see a dehumidifier, then that is another signal, you know, of me doing a little better check in there. That and that's someone, you know, something for those at home watching, that if if you have to use a dehumidifier, something should be telling you there's too much moisture in the air.
That's
Where's the
right,
moisture
that's right.
coming from?
Right.
And what is the moisture doing to my environment? That's my construction coming
That's
out.
so true. Well, and that I think helps tremendously. You having knowing all that about construction, because you could go, oh yeah, I know where that mold's coming from. So the inside of you, I mean, the outside of the environment affects the inside of the environment. And now, you have mold, but you're like, what does mold do? Well, we can get more into that. Like, what organs and gland system do they affect? How do they cause autoimmunes? How do so that's the journey of conversation, understanding how it can take you from A to Z. I mean, people die from mold exposure because they go, oh, they have 3 autoimmunes, but they don't realize that it started from the mold. So we can continue talking about that and then just digging in deeper of what to do, what to look for, and how to correct it. At the end of this video, we're going to have Bridget's information so you can contact her if you have any, you're moving, you're decluttering, you lose a relative and you're selling the home. And is there anything else or someone that does have, I know you deal with people that have, and we'll get into that, that can't let go of stuff. They hoard stuff. And then we know now we're dealing with emotional issues, and we can talk more in our
and we're kind of the
videos
arbitrator in a family, because you don't want to get in a fight with your mom or your sister or anything.
Right.
I'm a third party, I don't have a sentimental attachment to anything. It is an object that I'll treat it with respect and the situation with respect, but I'm not going to get into an argument over it. It doesn't trigger me in any way.
But
so
we can list those. We can say hoarding, moving, anything to do with. And I love that, you go into your closet. I've done this many times. Now I have my whole closet done because I'm very organized like you are. And I go in there and I'm like, oh, I just need to get one of those closet organizers. So isn't that amazing how much better you feel? Like, everything's in its place. You're not looking for stuff all the time. So I love that you can do a closet design or the whole house moved. So more information to come. Bridget and I are going to do lots more videos. And at the end of this video, you're going to have her information, my information. If you have any questions, you can email me or do a consult if you maybe suspect that there might be some mold in the house. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.